We're up here at Manx Radio on Douglas Head. It's a very historic moment, really. A new radio station's about to be born in about 10 minutes' time. It's Manx Radio TT 365, and the brainchild behind this is John Marsden, who's with us today.
Thanks, Paul.
You take the credit for this.
Yes, and if it fails, I'm sure, whatever.
Well, I mean, what's it like? Because you have run into a bit of flack over this from these sort of people.
Yeah, I mean, actually, on a small scale, but if you look at the forums and Facebook pages and things like that, it's a very, there seems to be a vacuum in the market for it.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, The brainchild is to use the sort of archives, I suppose, and to...
Yeah, I mean, we sat down about 8 weeks ago now and looked at things within the business that we actually have and wouldn't cost us anything to use. And one of those things is actually the AM channel. The AM channel does actually simply repeat what we do on the FM channel, apart from the 2 weeks of the year when we use it for Radio TT. And if I had £1 for every time somebody had asked me to carry on with Radio TT after the end of the TT fortnight, I wouldn't have to sit here talking to you in this camera. However, obviously we can't, that we have services on AM like Tynwald and Manx Gaelic services and things that we can't take off. So we decided to use the AM channel as what I've called a fire starter, so that we can get the whole of the 365 project into the viral space, into the internet space. So it'll be on the internet, it'll be via app, and that's for Android and iPhone, and it will also be via the new radio player on desktop.
Okay, I mean, obviously I have to ask these questions. I mean, you got the sort of restraints on the cash, and you've had some redundancies, and then suddenly you're starting a new service. I suppose people will question how you're going to make this do. I mean, you're using the same people, or you take on new people?
No, we haven't taken anybody on specifically. We've moved a position which was sponsorship and promotions in my department, and Dan Walker has taken on the position of building this project, if you like, and the archive material was there. And it's simply been time rather than money, and it's quite a gold mine considering we go back 50 years with the TT of what is sitting up there in the end room just gathering dust. So it's been time and effort, and it's been a bit of a wartime mentality really, because everyone's chipped in. Ashley Tracy with the social media side of things, Brian O'Reilly with the sales of the product and stuff like that. So it's been very, very fascinating to watch it develop.
Do you know if there's a market out there for it, or are you just sort of flying a kite on this one a bit?
I looked at the TT Facebook site, Isle of Man TT Facebook site, and there are 228,000 likes on that site with nearly 2 million friends of likes. So I sort of thought to myself, we'll put our market stall out in that arena. Tim Glover and I did some what you could call very crude marketing experiments by putting questions on the Facebook page, would you like this? And when they came back within like half an hour with 200, 300 people on saying, I definitely would, I'd buy an iPhone for this, I'd do this, we thought, we're onto something here,
Is it the old archives, or is it music, or...?
Yeah, it's a combination of archive programmes which will be scheduled every day, and we'll rotate those so that all time zones in the world get them at an appropriate time. There's music through the day as well as entertainment, and I think Dan's come up with what he's calling sort of Bikers Desert Island Disc, so we'll be sitting John McGuinness down and finding out what his top 10 is and things like that. So it's going to be entertaining. I mean, we're not just going to be sitting there playing out race after race after race. I mean,
well, there's only so many anyway, so once they've rotated, I mean, you've heard them all.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, and obviously we needed, the pressure has been on us because we needed to get this launched before TT this year, because that's where a huge amount of material is going to be gathered for Dan to use for the rest of the year.
I suppose being on the internet, it's a very exact science in the sense you will know exactly how many people are tuning in at all times.
Yeah, and advertisers that have been, most gracious in buying what I've called airware in the last 8 weeks, because all we've had is a brochure, we'll be able to see if that works as well, because it's end-to-end marketing, isn't it, at the end of the day? So we stand to fall by the listenership on the internet.
I'm guessing that the sort of brand of TT, which economic development are trying to widen by having maybe TTs around Europe, is that where you're looking long-term to sort of make a radio station that will travel and cover those sort of events?
Well, I mean, that was never part of the original game plan, but if this TT International takes off, then, I mean, this product would fit perfectly. I mean, you're going to have all of the personalities on the channel, like Charlie Williams. Charlie Williams is opening the channel for us tonight. Charlie Lambert, Chris Kinley, all of those guys. And it may well be that if Cancun takes off and things like that, then we'll fly the guys out there to actually commentate. Our commentary team would go out there, so it becomes a whole much bigger picture.
Will we be talking about this time next year, do you think?
I do hope so. I do hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, there's been a 25% increase in listening on the internet in the last 12 months, and that's mainly down to the BBC and ITV development of the radio player. Apps are becoming more and more, but this is a very, very specific product, and I'm just hoping that the TT fans will appreciate it. The website allows an awful lot of content to be put on there by the listener, so it becomes a bit of a home, if you like. And I've listened to some of the archive stuff. I'm not the greatest biking fan in the world, I'll admit that, but I've listened to some of the exciting stuff. It's Mike Hellwood's big return tonight, 1970, whatever it was, and now I'm going to get pilloried for not knowing that. But it's good stuff. Some of the comments have been very, very, very kind and very positive.